big one at the moment, Vasudha. Prime Minister Modi speaks to United States President Donald Trump.
That's right. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, just days after his meeting with Vladimir Putin. Remember, Putin visited India just a few days ago. Two leaders, Donald Trump and Narendra Modi, have reviewed progress in the India-US Comprehensive Global Strategic Partnership, the US-India trade deal. Remember, a team from the US is also expected in India very soon, and that's one deal, the bilateral deal that India is hoping will work out very soon. The leaders, what we understand from our sources, have exchanged views on expanding cooperation in trade, critical technologies, energy, defense and security.
That's right. It's important, remember, post the Putin visit, the sending of the optics to say that, look, India is as much in touch with the US as it is with anybody else, and Narendra Modi speaking with Donald Trump would be seen extremely as an important moment diplomatically. Both leaders agreed to work closely to address shared challenges and advance common interests. Prime Minister Modi had a telephone conversation today with Donald Trump, the President of the United States. The two leaders reviewed the progress in India-US Comprehensive Global Strategic Partnership and expressed satisfaction at the steady strengthening, Vasudha, of bilateral cooperation across all domains. An important bit of news that's breaking at the moment, Vasudha, something that would be very, very closely watched.
That's right, Vida. In fact, Prime Minister Modi and President Trump have underlined the importance of sustaining momentum and shared efforts to enhance bilateral trade. This comes at a time when India is looking at ways to navigate the penalty tariffs that US has imposed on India. And leaders also, what we understand from our sources, also exchanged views on expanding cooperation in critical technologies, energy, defense and security.
Right, Disha Bakshi, our correspondent, joins us live at the moment. Disha, tell us what you're picking up. Also put this in context, because this is considered an important diplomatic move.
Absolutely. This is the first contact between Prime Minister Modi and US President Trump since Russian President Putin's visit to India last week. Again, that's a very important diplomatic move now by Trump, saying that India and the relationship between India and US still remains a very important one for the US. And again, also taking stock of the kind of developments that have taken place between India and Russia in the last week. So this also comes at a time when we have a US trade team in New Delhi today, over the last 2 days, meeting key trade officials from India, discussing that very much awaited free trade agreement between India and the US. So again, this call, as the statement mentions, I'll just mention some of the key points, as you also said, that both US and India have agreed to work closely. They took stock of where the situation is in terms of that trade agreement. So really a very important call between the two leaders.
Right, it's an important call, and as you rightly point out, it's not just the Putin visit. The overall sort of atmosphere that was developed with the SAO meeting and then the Putin visit, and now this call would be seen extremely important in terms of diplomacy. Joining us, Aditya Raj Kaul as well. Aditya, we were just talking about the importance of this call. It's not more about what was discussed. Well, that's important as well, but the sheer call itself would be seen very, very important in diplomatic circles.
Well, that's right. Veera, you are absolutely right in analyzing the importance of this phone call. It obviously comes at a time when Russian President Putin just 2 days ago completed a very successful visit to New Delhi, and a lot of eyebrows were raised in Washington, D.C. during that visit. But now, Trump having a phone call with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, they have agreed to remain in touch. They have agreed to, in fact, work closely on global challenges. They have discussed a lot of, comprehensive bilateral partnership that is there between Washington, D.C. and New Delhi. A lot of important areas, including energy and trade, are mentioned as significant priority points that were discussed during the conversation. No big announcement has been made in this call, but there is some kind of an agreement that has been achieved. This phone call also happened immediately after a high-level US trade delegation was visiting India. There was also a senior official from the US Department of State that was visiting India from the political affairs. So a lot of thick activities taking place between US and India. This comes at a time when there have been differences on the trade deal, tariffs certainly being imposed on India. But whether there will be a pathway, there will be a consensus and a trade deal that will be announced in the days ahead. Perhaps only time will tell. But there seems to be some kind of a consensus and a pragmatic agreement that seems to be reached between Modi and
Aditya,